Many were hoping for a dignified retirement for the great Henry Warren Beatty, who had played the charming hero on screen so many times, but his awful prognosis has cast a shade on their plans. After decades of faithfully supporting him, his wife is suddenly faced with one of the most challenging responsibilities as a husband. Let's examine Warren Beatty's life story. On March 30, 1937, Henry Warren Beatty came into this world in Richmond, Virginia. His mom, Catherine Corinne McLean, taught drama, while his dad, Ira Owens Beatty, worked as a public school administrator, real estate broker, and professor of educational psychology. Both Warren and his older sister Shirley were brought up in a Baptist household by their parents. After moving the family from Richmond to Norfolk in 1945, their father subsequently moved them to Arlington. Prior to relocating to Waverly, he worked at Thomas Jefferson Junior High School in Arlington. In the 1950s, Warren's family relocated to Arlington's Dominion Hills area, where Warren developed a strong passion for movies. After finishing high school, his older sister Shirley made her Broadway debut in 1953's Me and Juliet. When Carol Haney hurt her ankle while filming The Pajama Game, she stepped in as her understudy. Shirley was hired by Paramount Pictures after the picture. Warren owes much of his enthusiasm for movies to her. He became a film buff after going to the theater with her on several occasions. Because of the striking resemblance between Katharine Hepburn and Warren's mother, the 1940s film The Philadelphia Story had a profound impact on Warren. Love Affair 1939, starring his favorite actor Charles Boyer, was another film that piqued his interest in cinema. Warren was a standout football player at Arlington's Washington Lee High School, where he played on the varsity squad. In order to follow his artistic dreams, he enrolled in the School of Communication at Northwestern University after finishing high school. He declined numerous college football scholarships despite their offers. He committed to a liberal arts education and joined the Sigma Chi fraternity after only 1 year. The late great comedian Milton Berle hosted the hit TV show Texaco Star Theater, and Warren found himself captivated by it at some point. He could impersonate the comic Milton Berle to a T since he saw so much of Berle's work. According to a friend of Warren's, he could pull off a fantastic impersonation of Berle in his act. Shirley, Warren's older sister, had already found success in Hollywood and, sensing her brother's unique talent, encouraged him to follow in his footsteps. Shirley reflected that spending time with her brother, whether it was listening to Al Jolson records or seeing him read a Eugene O'Neill book, was one of the most enjoyable and unforgettable experiences of her life. After hearing his sister's advice, Warren chose to become an actor. He began preparing for his big break in Hollywood by changing his surname from Beatty to Beatty. He got his start in the industry making guest appearances on shows like Studio One and Kraft Television. Dobie Gillis's Many Loves was in its inaugural season when Warren became a semi-regular. He was nominated for a Tony and a Theatre World Award in 1960 for his performance in William Inge's Loss of Roses, his sole Broadway production. His portrayal of a young man whose heart belongs to his best friend's mother was superb. When the California Air National Guard called on Warren in February 1960, he had to put his acting career on hold. Nevertheless, he was discharged the subsequent year due to his health condition, and he remained inactive thereafter. He made a quick comeback to acting and made his film debut with Natalie Wood in 1961's Splendor in the Grass, directed by Elia Kazan. He was named New Star of the Year and received a Golden Globe nomination for the picture, which was highly successful both critically and financially. The film was also nominated for 2 Oscars and took home 1. Warren claims that the film's director, Elia Kazan, was the person who gave him his big break. It was evident the first time I saw him, he wanted everything and he wanted it his way. Quoting Kazan himself, this is what he had to say about casting Warren in the role. I have never encountered a Jew with more vivacity, brains, and guts than he was. He was as confident in his sensual powers as any man, to the point that he never needed to promote himself, not even with subtle indications. He was also as intelligent and courageous as they came. Kazan was the first director that Warren thought of when he sought a mentor to learn from because of how quickly he took to him, regardless of how drastically different their personalities were. The combination of Warren's youth and Kazan's self-assurance, derived from both experience and success, allowed them to collaborate brilliantly. Among Warren's film credits are his co-starring roles with Vivien Leigh and Lot Lot Lenya in The Roman Spring of Mrs. Stone, a play by Tennessee Williams. The film follows an aging actress as she falls for a younger Rome man. Among Warren's other films are Kaleidoscope, Promise Her Anything, Lilith, Mickey 1, and All Fall Down. By establishing the production business Tatira in 1965, he resolved to take responsibility of his artistic career. The early stages of Warren's career seemed to follow the conventional Hollywood route, as one would anticipate from a young actor known for his engaging on-screen demeanor and masculine good looks. He was 6 feet 1 inch tall. Nevertheless, it became apparent to some onlookers that Warren wasn't content to merely act as a nice face carrying out orders. Among those who grasped her brother's insatiable need for advancement, Shirley stood out. He mentioned his interest in becoming a filmmaker and his desire to write, produce, and direct his own films on occasion. As a result, he is more comfortable when he is on camera. He's in the zone where he has total command. It seems like he's handling everything. The idea that his worth was limited to his looks was quickly dispelled when, in 1967, he co-produced the picture Bonnie and Clyde. He was really talented in more than simply performing. As a director, he was likewise highly creative and versatile. One reviewer even went so far as to say that Warren, at the age of 28, has demonstrated every characteristic of the archetypal Hollywood golden boy, as well as an apparent absence of enthusiasm for his job. From the gangster ballad Bonnie and Clyde, the man of the movies Warren Beatty emerges as a tremendously original performer and producer, radically shattering his reputation as a carefree playboy. Bonnie and Clyde, in which Warren was both an actor and producer, came out in 1967 when he was just 29 years old. He assembled a team that consisted of director Arthur Penn, writers David Newman and Robert Benton, and himself. Warren himself cast most of the actors, including Faye Dunaway, Gene Hackman, Estelle Parsons, and Michael J. Pollard. Along with directing the production of the film, he also oversaw the screenplay's drafting. Both critics and fans praised the group's chemistry and performances, proving that his judgments were spot on. Following its critical and financial success, Bonnie and Clyde received 10 Oscar nominations, including 2 for Best Picture and Warren for Best Actor. Along with Best Actor and Best Picture, it was nominated for 7 Golden Globes. Financial Warren got a substantial return on his investment in the film. His 30% profit share, which included Dollars, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and The Only Game in Town, brought him almost $6 million. Warren's acting chops have also come a long way. His ability to switch gears and play a variety of roles in these films, from romantic comedies to crime dramas, was on full display. Yet the man's influence in Hollywood extended far beyond the realm of cinema. He orchestrated political benefit performances such as Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell's concert with James Taylor at the Cleveland Arena. Warren staged Together for McGovern at Madison Square Garden in June 1972, reuniting Peter, Paul, Mary Nichols and May, Simon and Garfunkel, and Dionne Warwick. During these speeches, Warren's campaign manager Gary Hart proclaimed that his client had invented the political concert. He had shifted the power dynamic by rallying an unprecedented number of Hollywood stars behind a political cause. His remarkable ability to mobilize a huge number of Hollywood celebrities behind a political cause revolutionized the way people engaged with politics and managed activist campaigns. The revolutionary impact of these performances extended beyond their star power to include their influence on political fundraising and awareness. Gary Hart even acknowledged Henry as the creator of the political concert in 1974. His artistic qualities were truly showcased in his subsequent picture, which marked his return to the film industry. Hal Ashby's picture featured his acting, co-writing, and producing talents. In the context of the 1968 U.S. presidential election, this satirical comedy drama explored themes of social transformation, political disappointment, and the complexities of interpersonal relationships. The film was nominated for 4 Oscars and 5 Golden Globes, including Best Picture and Best Actor, such as the award for Best Original Screenplay. There was something about the way Warren and the prizes looked together. Heaven Can Wait, the next picture, received 9 Oscar nominations for its romantic fantasy comedic adaptation of Here Comes Mr. Jordan, 1941. Best Picture, Director, Actor, and Adapted Screenplay were all categories in which Warren was nominated. In recognition of his outstanding performance as football great Joe Pendleton, he was awarded the Golden Globe for Best Actor. They found themselves in paradise ahead of schedule by complete accident. But Warren wasn't finished yet. His monumental historical epic Reds, set in 1981, chronicles the lives of American journalist John Reed and his role in the Russian October Revolution. More than a decade and many hours of study and filming in various locations across the world went into Warren's passion project, Reds. As early as 1970, he began preparing and recording for the project. Despite setbacks, the picture did well at the box office and among critics. It was made during the height of the Cold War and got 12 Oscar nominations, 4 of which went to Warren. Best Director was the Oscar he took home. And history had already confirmed his talent as a director. Maureen Stapleton won Best Supporting Actress, while Vittorio Storaro won Best Cinematography for the film. Among the 7 Golden Globe nominations for the film were Best Motion Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Screenplay. Warren also won the award for Best Director. Warren sat out for 5 years after Reds before making an appearance in Elaine May's 1987 flick Ishtar. But his homecoming was far from satisfactory. The film was critically panned and commercially unsuccessful. Actually, the newly appointed director of British Studios, David Putnam, was very critical of it in reviews published soon before its debut. Much of the blame for the Ishtar's failure was laid on Putnam, who was promptly sacked after criticizing numerous other American projects that had gone over budget, which his predecessor had authorized. Warren began a new chapter in his artistic life in 1990 when he took on the iconic comic book character Dick Tracy. Warren not only starred as the square-jawed investigator, but he also served as the film's producer and director. Box office triumph, rave reviews, and 3 Oscar nominations, all because to the film's vibrant colors and style, which faithfully portrayed the era of old comic strips. Each category has 3 finalists: art direction, makeup, and original song. Best Picture and Best Actor went to Warren among the 4 Golden Globe nominations. In 1991, Warren co-starred with Barry Levinson in the commercially successful film Bugsy, which he also produced. The film's antagonist, Bugsy Siegel, was actually played by Warren. The film also took home 3 Golden Globes, including Best Picture and Best Actor, out of 8 nominations. Warren, one of Hollywood's most adored bachelors, had a trophy chest full with accolades and a string of hit films. For a long time, he was the model of masculine and feminine perfection. There was a lengthy list of famous people he was involved with. More than 100 famous women, many of whom were the center of widespread media interest, were linked to him. Warren has probably been with everybody I know, Cher went so far as to say. But when he saw Annette Bening for the first time in 1991, he was oblivious to the profound impact their initial encounter would have on their lives. It happened around lunchtime following her casting in his film Bugsy. As a result, Warren knew things would change for the worst. "I can still taste the garlicky chicken from 20 seconds ago," he recalled, "and it had been delicious." The legendary actor met with Bening and promised her he would not approach her inappropriately on set. At the end of filming, he broke that rule by asking her out to supper. Despite her initial reluctance, they went out to dinner, and the rest is history. While Bening was 34 years old in 1992, Warren was 54 years old. The choice shocked many, but the actor insisted he never questioned it. The following year, Stephen Ira was born to the happy couple. The most significant event in Warren's and his mother's lives, according to Warren's relatives, was that. More important than fame is the fact that it came at the right moment. The next year, in 1994, he made his directing debut with Love Affair. He and his wife Bening co-wrote, produced, and performed in the love drama directed by Glenn Gordon Caron. Commercially, the film bombed and critics were divided. In spite of his grief, he was able to enjoy the birth of his second son, Benjamin. Other projects were continued by Warren. He had his third child, Isabel, in 1997, and the following year he wrote, produced, directed, and starred in the critically acclaimed and Oscar-nominated political satire Bulworth. The film also received 3 Golden Globe nominations. Award for Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Screenplay 2010. Ella, his fourth kid and sixth family member, was born in the year 2000. Warren continued production on the financially unsuccessful 2001 film Town Country while the festivities were going on. The actor took a break from acting after getting married and starting a family. The actor claims he took a hiatus so he could provide a more conventional childhood for his kids. I think having 2 famous parents is a hardship, so I completely respect their privacy, he said. I could go on and on about how funny and brilliant they are. They have a right to privacy, though, therefore I think you should give them some room. There were doubts about Warren's future in the industry after he went 15 years without starring in or directing a film. Still, he made an occasional appearance, including a May 2005 lawsuit he lodged against Tribune Media, asserting his continued ownership of the Dick Tracy rights. On March 25, 2011, he was victorious in that litigation. Following this triumph in court, he rediscovered his passion for directing and returned to the chair in 2016. At CinemaCon in April, he reiterated his intention to create a sequel to Dick Tracy. After 40 years in development, Warren finally unveiled his next film. A film on Howard Hughes may have been written, produced, and directed by Warren, who inked a deal with Warner Brothers in the 1970s. The project was put on hold when he began working on Heaven Can Wait. Before deciding that Red's biography should take precedence, he had planned to film Hughes's and John Reed's biographies at the same time. Despite his growing involvement with the Reed project, Warren's fascination with Hughes' biography remained unchanged. His decision to adapt the story into a romantic comedy set in 1958 Hollywood, Las Vegas, rather than a pure biopic was announced in June 2011. An affair between a young actress and her driver, who were both employed by the eccentric Hughes, was the subject of the film that was later named Rules Does Not Apply. It was supposed to be directed, written, produced, and starred by Warren. Along with up-and-coming actors like Andrew Garfield and Alec Baldwin, he also met with longtime stars like Owen Wilson and Justin Timberlake, as well as Hollywood greats like Jack Nicholson, to cast his film. Despite the buzz surrounding the film, which Warren labored on for almost 40 years, the film was critically panned and failed to do well at the box office. It goes without saying that this outcome deeply disappointed Warren. Regardless, he decided to step into the limelight to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the film Bonnie and Clyde. In 2017, he attended the 89th Academy Awards alongside his co-star Faye Dunaway. Prior to accepting the Best Picture award, Jimmy Kimmel introduced them. They got the envelope, which is why Dunaway gave the Best Picture award to La La Land, even though Moonlight had won. A worldwide craze began when this became popular on social media. Despite the initial confusion and shame, Warren and Dunaway managed the situation with poise and humor in 2018. They were even back at the Oscars the following year to accept the award for Best Picture at the 90th Academy Awards, where they were welcomed with a standing ovation and made light of the previous year's incident. According to Warren, The Form of Water came out on top. On this occasion, I encountered zero issues. Their resilience and sense of humor were evident as the audience erupted in a standing ovation. Consequently, the envelope mishap gained legendary status in Hollywood, acting as a continual reminder that blunders may occur in the most lavish settings. The way Warren and Dunaway dealt with their gaffe ensured that their name would live on, which is a blessing. Also, about enduring legacies, several tabloids published tales after Warren did not attend his daughter Sarah Paulson's March 2024 Broadway play opening, leading to speculation of marital strife in his family. Be that as it may, Warren chose to keep quiet about the worrying development in his health, so all we heard were rumors. Despite receiving multiple nods for his role in the sports drama Need, he chose not to attend the 2024 Academy Awards. His wife, who played Diana Nyad in the film, was nominated for Best Actress and posed for photos on the red carpet. A source close to Warren said that he is still very egotistical and fragile, and that he simply wanted to remain unknown. He would prefer that no one know his identity. However, according to an insider, Warren's health problems have worsened, and he is now reportedly very forgetful. Someone close to the actor said everyone is starting to notice that he's not around when asked about his absence from red carpet appearances since 2022. For 2 years to go unnoticed is a major issue. Credible sources with knowledge of Warren's health revealed further concerning details. An insider said he was frail and ashamed of his deteriorating health, so he avoided public appearances. His cognitive abilities were called into doubt when another source brought up the fact that he was becoming increasingly forgetful. His protracted absence from public events, coupled with these reports, has left fans and colleagues worried. While we don't know the exact details of his health, we can all relate to the natural deterioration in health that comes with being older. But fans take into account the reality that Warren's wife would be powerless to stop her husband's slow decline at the family home, despite their decades-long marriage. Many think she would find comfort in knowing that their children will carry on the traditions they established. The only thing she can do is fulfill her duty and bid farewell to the man who captivated the globe at one point. The fact that Warren's star is fading is another proof that the relentless march of time befalls even the most famous people, including those from Hollywood's golden period.